Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today for my empties. So I'm talking about the products that I used up in the last month or so and letting you know what I think about them after using them up. Would I repurchase them? Would I not repurchase them? Two elephants in the room. One, yes, I got a haircut. I got it cut yesterday. So thank you, Madeline, for cutting my hair. I wanted it shorter and a bit of a change because I feel like a potato. I think, you know, people that are heavily pregnant probably know what I feel like. You feel like a whale, and so I felt like a change. And it reminds me of like, when I got home, I'm just like, man, I feel like Kat from like 10, 12 years ago, because this is how I had my hair like 12 years ago. So yeah, flashback. I feel like I'm in my early 20s, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm in my early 20s, so it's a bit funny. You might also notice that I'm sitting on my normal spot, which I'm excited for. So this is where I like to film. But when my sciatic nerve is playing up, I cannot do it. Today is a reasonably good day, but I need to hurry this up so I don't push my luck. Also on my eyes, if you're wondering, I've just concluded a review of this NARS palette. So I don't know if that has already gone up or it will go up next, but that's what it is. All right, this month I used up 2 Bioderma micellar waters. You might go, how did you use up 2, Kat? What the actual heck? I have 1 in my bathroom and I have 1 in my makeup room. And what I tend to do with this one is if I'm wiping makeup off my hand or fixing a mistake or wiping off lipstick, I will use this at my desk, and then yeah, I use this in the morning as my morning cleanse. So I always have sort of 2 bottles open at once, if that makes sense, and I just so happen to use them up at the same time. So I really like Bioderma. It's my favorite micellar water. I feel like it's really gentle on the skin. There's not a lot of like fragrance or crap in there that you feel like you have to wash off. So I actually think I like this one, which is for dehydrated skin, more than I like the original. So the blue one I like the most. So what I do with this is I use it as a cleanser in the morning. So I have a shower at night because I like to double or triple cleanse and do all my things and put all my body stuff on. So I like to have my shower at night, and then in the morning I just sort of remove any oils or any product from the night before with some micellar water. So that's what I use this for. I do have a backup of this. I think I'm using the oily skin one at the moment that I had a backup of. I don't like that one, that's a green lid one. I don't like that one as much as this one. So I would definitely repurchase this or the original, the green one. I think it's a little bit sensitive around my eye area, but it's fine. And then when it comes to this one, yeah, I use this, like I said, in my makeup room. I really like the pump thing because you can just get like cotton pad or a tissue or something and just like pump it on and then remove whatever you need to remove. So yeah, I like them both, have repurchased, so there we go. I used up a cleansing oil. I'm feeling like I'm going through these too quickly, which is why I like to buy the big bottles, but I had some of the smaller bottles. I've got a big bottle currently out, which is good. But this is the Sureamira Ultimate Sublime Beauty Cleansing Oil. I really like it, but these small bottles, like I said, I use them every couple of months, whereas if I buy a big bottle, which is a big investment, it lasts me, I think, about 11 months of daily use. So yeah, I prefer the bigger bottles because I don't feel like I'm going through it as fast. But I really like this cleansing oil from Sureamira. It is their sort of like top of the line version, which I believe is a mix of their other version. So it's got a whole bunch of different sort of skincare benefits to it. But I just really like this type of cleansing oil. It works really well on my skin. It removes makeup really easily. It washes off without any oily residue. I love it. I've been using it for years. I dig it. I have repurchased it multiple times and I will again. So cleansing oil, love it. Not surprisingly, I've used up some body products. So these are like body butter, body oil type things. I've got a few on the go and I've used up a lot in the last few months. So this one is, it's called the Bodyplus Skin Oil. It's a vitamin E and ceramide intensive skin repair. So the product itself was the same sort of color as bio oil. I feel like it's trying to tap into that market of bio oil users. I think it was sort of similar-ish, didn't have the same scent, but yeah, I've been using this every morning and night. So pretty much whenever I change my clothes, I use an oil or a moisturizer. So in the morning when I'm getting dressed, before I get dressed, I put it on. And then as I like get out of the shower before I get into my pajamas, I put it on. So I've been going through a lot of it. This one I don't think is particularly super impressive. So I used it, but I probably wouldn't repurchase it. I also used up the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Tummy Butter for stretch marks. I also have the moisturizer tube version of this that I haven't finished. But this is a tub and it smells really nice, but I didn't mind this. It lasted a long time actually, but it was so firm that it was really hard to get out of the tin. So I like body butters that you can sort of, you know, put your finger in and actually pick up the product. Whereas this, it almost needed like a spoon or a knife or a spatula or something to like dig into it because it was like breaking rock. And then what I had to do was pick up a chunk and then like warm it in my hands, make all the chunks go into a body butter and then use it. So I think for that reason alone, I wouldn't repurchase this. I didn't mind it. I think it felt nice. It smelled nice. But how firm it was kind of frustrating to use. And if you need to like dig into it, like it's the kind of thing that you like dig your nail into, but then if you've got nail polish on, you worry that it's going to like lift your nail polish because you're sort of digging your nail in there. So I just don't like the format of this. And spoiler alert, it doesn't prevent stretch marks. I have had a few people ask, and I feel like when I do, in a few months' time, when I'm had baby and settled with baby, I'm going to do like a pregnancy baby sort of video Q&A and get all that out of the way. But I have had a few people say like, how do you prevent stretch marks? And you can't. It's just, it is how some people's bodies respond to the skin stretching. So yeah, I started using oils and body butters probably at, I think, week 10 of pregnancy where I wasn't even showing. And by week 20, I started getting stretch marks. It is what it is. And I was putting product on 2, sometimes 3 times a day. Now, there are some people that get 0 stretch marks and they might say, oh, it's because I used oils and body butters. But what realistically it is those people just weren't going to get stretch marks. So it is what it is. I got stretch marks when I was going through puberty. They fade over time, and you know, in the long term, it's not that big a deal. If you really hate your stretch marks, you can go get them laser removed, which is good technology these days. But what it comes down to is when you're pregnant, if you are prone to stretch marks, you're gonna get them. But I still use these types of products, so oils, body butters, moisturizers, a couple of times a day, because it actually, not like I would have loved for it to prevent stretch marks, let's be real. But what it mainly does is it's more comfortable for your body. So people talk about skin stretching, feeling like ants being under your skin, which sounds horrible and like itchy. And I found that by putting body butter or oils on twice a day, I felt like the stretching was a lot more comfortable. I didn't ever have that sort of, I had a little bit of itchiness, but I never had that sort of ant feeling under your skin, like uncomfortable, dry, pulling skin. So I think it's more of a comfort thing, and it may reduce stretch marks a little bit or help your body expand a little bit. But again, if you're going to get them, this is not going to prevent it. So yeah, sorry to all the people out there that get stretch marks. It sucks. And I hear you. But also afterwards, if you do continue to use oils and products like this, you can help sort of reduce the color of them over time. So I'm not saying that these products are bad and you should not use them. I do use them. It's just that, yeah, they're not going to work wonders at preventing them completely. So just be aware of that. But like I said, I don't mind this range, but I didn't like the firmness of this product, so I wouldn't repurchase it. I feel like my favorite product so far for the body that I haven't used up yet, so it's still in my bedroom, is the Bio Oil Gel Tub. I think that's a really great product. And I think once I use up all my products that I currently have on the go for my body, that's what I'll keep repurchasing to sort of fade stretch marks, if that makes sense. Let's talk more about body, because again, I've been using a lot of body products. I do want to mention that I used up a face serum on my body, which is what I've been doing as well. Probably should have started doing this earlier on, but I only started doing it maybe in the last 6 weeks or something. But I just find any sort of like serum that I've had open for a while that I'm not really using, I just use it on my body. So this one is the Indeed Labs Collagen Booster. So I started using this like, again, after I have a shower, I'll put some of this on and then I will follow it up with a oil or a body butter. So I don't mind this collagen serum. I used probably a good 2/3 of it last year and I was using it fine organically in my skincare routine. I don't know if it did anything amazing to my skin, but when I saw that it was sort of, I think down to around here, and I had it in a cupboard, I think I put it away because I was trying some other products. I just thought, I'm going to pull you out and actually use you on my body. So yeah, it's not a product that I necessarily would repurchase. I really do like this brand, but I didn't see like amazing results from this serum. But yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I used up a body scrub. So again, scrubs are really good when you are dealing with this situation because they can, like, I think the sort of massaging qualities of a body scrub can really help with blood flow and over time can reduce the look of scarring. So one thing that I will be investing a lot into are good body scrubs. So to help that blood flow happening, to help sort of like heal the scars and then use like a oil or something to help moisturize them. But one that I did use up recently was so this is the Eco by Sanya Driver. Now this is the same brand as Ecotan, so I don't know why they call it something different because it's the same brand. But this is a pink Himalayan salt scrub and it's for your body, hands and face. It's got organic lemongrass, coconut, grapefruit. So what I liked about this was that it was quite a coarse scrub, so it does a good job. It also has a really nice sort of zesty scent because it's got that lemongrass and grapefruit, which I personally really liked, but it reminded me of lemon strepsils. So it almost has like a medicinal herbal scent to it. It's not just like oh, that's citrus. It almost smells like, yeah, like lemon strepsils for some reason, which are like cough lozenges. Positive about this was that it did give a good scrub because it's quite coarse, and it did leave a layer of oil on your skin. So this is not good for like before tanning because you don't want a layer of oil on your skin before you tan. But if you don't worry about tanning like me and you're more concerned about like leaving your skin moisturized, this was a really nice product. I did find that it sort of probably wasn't concentrated enough for my liking. If this was a little bit more concentrated, I would repurchase it. But what I mean by that is that it had really coarse scrubby particles that were really nice, but as you sort of like work it on your body in the shower, it dissolves pretty quickly. So you have to use quite a lot of it. Whereas I like the scrubs that are so densely packed that you can actually scrub your body for a few minutes or at least a good minute before it dissolves completely. Whereas this was more like you can only do it for a few seconds and then it starts to dissolve. So yeah, I did like it. If it was in my life again, I would happily use it, but I think I'll move on to another one that is a little bit more up my alley. All right, quick readjustment because I needed to move my legs. Oh, one thing I want to say about this as well that I almost forgot to say is that it says body, hands and face. I think this is way too coarse for your face, so I don't like that it says that. I would only recommend using this for your body. I did actually try using it for my face, but again, like it's like chunks of salt particles, and it is yeah, it's too harsh, and it also leaves a bit of a greasy residue, which if you have oily skin like me and it's sort of you have it prone to breakouts, it's not a good thing. You don't want oily residue on your face. So yeah, just stick to that on your body. All right, body lotion. So this is the Human+Kind body souffle. Now we got this in a subscription box. I don't know where you buy this. I don't know anything about this. It's like it has a cross between floral but sweet, slightly fruity scent. It's sort of like a scent that I think won't offend many people, but probably there's very few people that would be like, this is my favorite scent ever. It sort of just ticks a lot of boxes, if you know what I mean. This was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just a body lotion that I used on my feet and my legs at night. And yeah, it was quite heavily fragranced. So if you don't like fragrance things or things that linger, I would probably avoid, but it was just a nice body lotion. So yeah, would I necessarily track this down to repurchase it? Probably not, but did I enjoy using it? Yes. I rarely talk about the basics, like I don't talk about toothpaste, deodorant, stuff like that, because I go through those quite a lot and I never talk about them. But one hand wash thing that I did use up that I thought I'll put in here was the Palmolive Foaming Antibacterial Lime and Mint Hand Wash. Now, this is a refill bottle. This is the hand wash that I have in my bathroom and at my kitchen sink. I use it quite a lot, but I buy these big refill bottles that I think it fits, 4 bottles. So, you know, I can top up the bathroom and the kitchen 1-2 times each, and so I do it this way. It's better. But for this product, I really like it. It is something that I would repurchase. I like the foaming element of it. I don't personally like antibacterial hand washes because I don't feel like it's necessary. The hand washing with soap thing is enough for like getting rid of germs. But I really like the lime and mint. Leaves your hands smelling really nice, and it's a nice hand wash, so that's what I buy often. The thing I used up last was the Elizabeth Arden. This is the original 8-hour cream. Now this is a sort of, look, they're saying the legendary skincare classic works wonders to moisturize and protect anytime, anywhere you choose. Shape brows, revitalize shine, soothe dry hands and smooth cuticles and nails. Protects against and helps alleviate symptoms of chapping, peeling, windburn due to dryness from exposure and the elements. So it's a multi-purpose balm. I don't really like this. I understand that this is like a holy grail for a lot of people, and I get it. I think if you have those really dry, chapped lips that are like painful, and I think also often people get like when you've got a cold and you've got like the painful skin around your nose. I know that this is one of those products that a lot of people love and awesome. I can't get past the scent of it. It is so, I don't know, it's like medicinal but herbal and almost a little bit like, it's like petroleum-ish. Sort of smells like chemicals. There's something about it that I just don't like. So I've had this kicking around for probably years. And the only way I tend to use it up, because I don't really like putting it on my face because I don't like the smell. I use it actually on my feet. So I will occasionally, if I'm wearing socks, which doesn't happen too often, if I'm wearing like sort of thick socks and I'm just hanging around the house, I might put this on my feet, put socks on as like a treatment. I don't know, if I have dry like elbows or something, I might put a little bit of this on. Again, I understand that this is a multi-purpose product that a lot of people really, 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 really love. I don't really dig it. And like when it comes to like cuticles and stuff, I can understand that it will work for dry hands and cuticles, but it's very, very greasy and sticky. And I just don't like that. It's one of those things that like if you wear it to bed, like if you do your cuticles with it or put on your hands to bed, you'll just stick to everything. So yeah, it's a classic in the range. And if you love it, I understand, but it's not for me. All right, a couple more skincare things, and then we'll get on to some Project Pan products, letting you know what I think about them. I want to mention this, and this is going to be very controversial, so hold on to your hats. So this is a Sunday Riley Lunar Sleeping Night Oil. Now, this is a night oil, and it's a retinol. And I wanted to mention this because I did actually use this up in the last 6 months or so. And I know that that is controversial because technically when you're pregnant, they say not to use any retinols because it can cause birth defects. So I did my research. I spoke to medical professionals and skincare professionals, and I continued to use a little bit of retinol throughout my pregnancy. Baby's fine. Baby's all good. But I was very careful with not using it often. I also know that these topical face ones that you buy from the shops aren't strong enough to actually get in and cause any damage. The retinols that they sort of want you to avoid are like the oral retinols, so things that might be in medication, especially like acne medication, things that are in vitamins, for example. So I was looking up vitamins that I wanted to buy, and a lot of them had vitamin A or retinoids or whatever in it. And I was like, no, steer clear from those. Also, if you're on any prescription retinol, so really strong retinol, topical retinol, you know, you want to avoid those. But when it comes to your over-the-counter cosmetics, it doesn't actually do enough to harm baby. Just, you know, if you want to be super cautious, go for your life. But I did use retinol about once a week in my skincare routine. So I did use this up. I didn't like this. I don't think it did much, possibly because it's such like just a cosmetic retinol. But yeah, I used it up. I didn't like it. I wouldn't repurchase it. But yeah, I thought I would mention it. So yeah, controversial because I used it, but also probably controversial because I heard a lot of people say really great things about this, but Sunday Riley has never impressed me for some reason. It's one of those brands that people say great things about, and I just don't, it does not compute for me. So yeah, I wouldn't repurchase this. All right, I used up some sheet masks. So I used up the Look at Me Aqua Moisture Raccoon face mask. This was actually not bad. It's just a hydrating face mask. I don't think it did much besides hydration. But one thing I did like about it wasn't drippy. It was super easy to just put on at my computer, leave on for 10 to 15 minutes. It wasn't sliding off my face. It wasn't dripping onto my neck. So I actually really like this just because of the texture. It was easy to use. I find the sheet masks that you put on and they slide off your face or they're so wet that they drip, I find them so infuriating. You pretty much have to lie on the couch and just wait for it to be over. You can't even like turn your head and watch TV because it just starts sliding or dripping down your face. So this was a really good one just because of the consistency. So I don't think it did heaps, but I think if you want a hydrating sheet mask, this worked well. This Lonvitalite or Lonvitalite C2 collagen firming mask, should have put that on my stomach. Oh well, maybe I'll do that later. I didn't mind this. I didn't, again, think it did heaps. And it was more of a creamy mask, but at the same time, this is probably so old that I think it was probably not drippy and super wet because it probably had dried out. Knowing how long I've had this, which is probably going on like 3 or so years, I feel like whatever I say about them is probably not accurate. So anyway, I used it because I'm trying to get through some sheet masks. All right, this thing that I don't have the name for, so I'll have to put on the screen because I kept the packaging, but I didn't keep the label. So it's essentially a Lush body bar oil shower thing. So I used this and it probably only took about 10 applications to use it up, which I didn't think was enough for Lush prices. But essentially it was like a solid body oil product. You keep it out of the running water, you keep it dry. But when you're in the shower after you've washed your body, you get it and you sort of rub it on and sort of work it in, and it leaves you with a sort of body butter sort of feel to your skin, which was quite nice. I found that it had a lot of like, I think shredded coconut in it. So it felt like it just had a lot of filler, and I think that was designed to be more of a gentle exfoliant, but I almost felt like it would have been better just to have the body butter because that's what you're sort of using it for. Whereas when I was like having these little like chunks of coconut coming out, I was like, feels like filler. So yeah, I wouldn't repurchase that because I didn't mind the effect of it, but I think it took me like not even 10 applications to use up, and that's just, yeah, I want my stuff to last longer. This, for example, probably lasted me like months of use. So I just find that is more cost effective. Used up an old hand sanitizer. So I actually had a subscriber of Beauty News send a bunch of Bath and Body Works stuff, and this was a little hand sanitizer from ages ago. I've actually got another one around. So yeah, I'm not a huge hand sanitizer person, but I did like the scent of this. This was like a berry. I don't know what it's called because it's all rubbed off. It was like a berry scent, but I started carrying these in my handbag when I realized that my immune system's quite compromised being pregnant. So like I remember I went to a friend's house and they were getting over a cold, and normally I don't get sick. Like I've got a pretty good immune system. I'm one of those people that like, I haven't had a cold for 3 years kind of thing. But because of my situation, I noticed that I can get sick really quickly, and it lasts, like that cold lasts for like 3 weeks or something. So I started carrying some hand sanitizer with me in case I was around someone that was sick, and before I ate. I wanted to sort of like get rid of any germs. So yeah, I haven't become a hand sanitizer person, but I've started using hand sanitizers more currently. So I used that up. I didn't mind it. It was very, very small and compact, and I like the scents. They're very strong though, but you know, it was cute. Oh, I'm jumping back and forward between Project Pan products. That was a Project Pan product. Hand sanitizer was not. This is a Project Pan product. So it is a La Roche-Posay Melt-In BB Cream, the Uvidea XL in the shade 01. So I wanted to use this in summer because it was SPF 50. So it's nice to have a BB cream that has high SPF in Australia because we get very strong UV rays and you can get sunburnt and skin cancer very easily. I didn't really like using this on its own because it didn't have enough coverage. It was a BB cream. I do have sort of skin issues, redness, patchiness, whatever. So it wasn't enough coverage for me. I also didn't find that it lasted a long day of wear on my oily skin, but I did like to use this to mix with other foundations. So I would probably mix this with a higher coverage foundation just to add a little bit more coverage to it if I was just, you know, going around the shops doing whatever on a daily basis. So I didn't mind it, but I wouldn't repurchase it. But if you are the type of person that wants a high SPF product in Australia that has a bit of a tint, I really do love La Roche-Posay sunscreens. They're very, very easy to wear. They're very comfortable. They don't feel greasy. So yeah, I prefer the just normal Uvidea, not the tinted one, if that makes sense. So I would repurchase the sunscreen version of this. I've used it before. It's really lovely, very light and comfortable, but I wouldn't use the BB cream one. All right, two last things, and they are makeup stick type things. So the first one is the MAC eyebrow pencil. This is the eyebrows in stylized. I don't mind this pencil. I did use it pretty quickly. I did put in my Project Pan, not because I dislike the pencil, but because it is a little bit light for me. So this is a good color for my brows if I want to fill in my whole brow. Maybe a little bit light actually, slightly lighter than what I normally go for, but I like to use micro pencils to define, like to add in a bit of definition. So I like to put in like a pomade or a powder or a, you know, bigger pencil in my brows, and then I like to go for a darker micro brow, and I like to just sort of mimic the hairs and just be a bit more precise. And I found that because this was too light, this particular shade, it didn't actually give any definition. So all I could use it for was to tidy up brows, not to add in those little mimic the brow hairs. So yeah, I wouldn't repurchase this, but you know, it was fine. I do actually have another one of it, and I will use it. It's just that it's, yeah, I want to maybe pick a time where I want lighter brows. Then I also used up the Sureamira. This is the Water Paint Ink Liner, and it's in a purple shade. It's in deep purple. Now, I really liked this liner concept. I've got other shades in it, and I think the liner's great. It just depends on the color. So this is a really nice brush tip, like a really small, fine brush tip that stayed remarkably pretty clean and easy to sort of wipe off. One thing I don't like about felt tip liners is that they can get clogged with eyeshadow because you're putting them over eyeshadow and then you don't get the flow properly. Whereas this sort of brush, since it's like a synthetic brush, it was really easy to wipe excess product off and get that nice flow. It was a really nice liner. It was a nice purple color. You probably get some color out of it. There we go. So you can still see some color out of it. I just find that I can't do like a full eye with it anymore. This color was really strange though, depending on what it was over the top of. And I think it's like a chemical reaction. Sometimes it looked really blue. Other times it looked really red. So I don't know what it was. There was something about it that sort of changed and it was a bit confusing. I also found that sometimes it would bleed a little bit in my eyes, not too often. So it's not a bad liner. It's just that, you know, maybe 1 out of 5 times I'd be like, oh, it's got a little bit of bleeding. But otherwise it was a really nice applicator, really nice sort of easy to apply liner. One thing that's interesting about these ones as well, and I think it's because they're the water paint ink, they actually are pretty sheer. So they are translucent, and of course if you put it over a base and you sort of build it up a bit, you can get a bold line with it, but you see it more so in the lighter colors. Like they do have light blues of these and whatnot. If you put like a light color over a medium eyeshadow, it's sort of, it doesn't give you that bold color, which is kind of unusual, but the dark colors like the purple, there was a dark blue, there was a red, they are really, really beautiful and they do work nicely as a normal eyeliner, but it's not like an opaque liner. So there's weird things about it. I probably wouldn't repurchase this because, again, like 1 in 5 times it did bleed on me, and this particular color did look different on the eye depending on what you applied it over. I also found the sheer nature of this looked good with some looks, but then with other looks, it just didn't really work and I'd have to go over it with another liner. So, but the formula is quite nice. The applicator is very nice. So there's pros and cons to it, but I probably wouldn't repurchase it. If this had like an opaque black version, I would totally buy it. But these sort of inky sheer ones were a bit like they could look really good, and then other times they just didn't really work. All right, so those were my empties of the last month or so. Mainly body products in there for obvious reasons. But if you missed any of the products that I talked about and you want to know the name of them, I will list them in the description box. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.